I remember it so distinctly. It was this gray creature with the light behind it, like a lizard man. Oh, not the lizard man! With big eyes and a weird expression. Greetings, weary travelers, and welcome to today's video. Honestly, sitting out here is really nice for the vibe we're going for because welcome back to the Reaction Sleepover. This is the series where we get cozy and we react to stuff. I don't know why I'm using my hands so much today. There. And today we have school stories. And I'm pretty sure this is a part 2. If you have any stories you'd like to share from school or anything else, doesn't matter, you could submit anything. You can go to the description down below to go to the Google form, the subreddit, or you can even email me. Even leave a comment saying this is a story submission. Like, there's tons of ways you can do it. If you have any stories, submit them to the story gremlin. So without further ado, grab your cozies and snackies, and let's head on into it. This says, I submitted 2 gay for the wedding. You are a legend. That story was a doozy. So I guess I should have a fake name like NB. Sounds good to me. LOL. Hello, NB. Welcome back to the Story Gremlin's Cave of Cozy. You are now one with PocoMuses lore, as is anyone who has submitted a story here. The title is Nap Time is Actually Terrifying. I see. I'm guessing this is a story about either preschool or kindergarten, and yes, children are in fact very haunted. So this is more on the paranormal side, just for funsies. I actually have a song named Funsies. Did you know I made music? I really don't talk about it that much, and I really should. You know how in school there's nap time, and like back in my day when I was 5, we had cots and stuff. You had cots? How fancy. I had just mats on the ground. I think I remember peeing one time during nap time. Do you guys hear that bird? It's sitting right outside. Hi. There's 2. They're flirting. No, yeah, that's so fancy. I just slept on the ground. On like a yoga mat, basically. I never understood it because I could never sleep during school. Why set up all this just for us to lay staring at the ceiling? Again, children are very haunted. Imagine if you walked in and that's all you saw. Just no one sleeping, everyone's just staring at the ceiling, silent. I would run for my life. Trust nothing. I just wait for the teacher to tell us to wake up while lost in thought. One time I was laying there as a 5-year-old and I remember chewing on one of those candy bracelets, like under the blankets. Must keep it secret. Keep it safe. For real though, when you're that young, kids are trying to grab at your stuff. You have to keep it secret, otherwise they will get it. Honestly, that's always true. Just if you're around other children and you have a thing and they want it, they will stop at nothing to take it from you. Literally a horror movie. Dark room, children staring up at the ceiling doing nothing, and then others munching under their blankets like little gremlins. And there's lights outside of it. I look out and just see this really bright light. Save me from this nightmare. As you're walking towards the light, the teacher punts you out of the way. If anyone's gonna escape, it's gonna be me. It scared me, but I just figured maybe the overheads were on and I wasn't used to it. So I just waited under the covers, trying not to eat the candy bracelet. Don't make any noise. Thinking I'm in trouble or something. Fast forward a week or so. My parents take us out of school for a business trip. My dad did sales, so he stayed in hotels a lot and ended up missing a lot of school. I forgot about almost getting in trouble and just enjoyed the free chocolate muffins at the Holiday Inn we stayed at. Just desperate to forget the nightmare, trying to drown your sorrows in chocolate. Yes, this is the way. We swam, waited for my dad, and all 5 members of my family went to sleep in the hotel room with 1 bed. So I was on the floor in one of those cots. Not the cots again. I remember falling asleep, which I usually did with my head under the covers, and waking up because of a bright light. It's back! You are literally haunted. I peek from under the covers and it's the same light. No way. It followed you. I can't blame it. You go on vacation, they're like, I want to join. I want to get away from the rest of these nightmare kids too. Coming in through the hotel window, which had the curtains fully shut. I was the oldest kid, so I put on my brave face since these aren't my fellow students, these are my baby siblings. Yes, protective mode is officially on. You're like, these aren't randos, these are my people. I love that though. You're sitting there in your like daycare and you're like, you can take them, just leave me alone. And I fully look out from under the covers. I swear to God, there was a whole alien standing above me. Ew! Ew! I remember it so distinctly. Gross! It was this gray creature with the light behind it, like a lizard man. Oh, not the lizard man! With big eyes and a weird expression. It looked right at me and I stared back in absolute horror. I wonder if you were having a, like, sleep paralysis moment. Giving me all the heebie-jeebies. I still remember being just frozen in fear, like I'm dreaming. I must be. This isn't real. The thing started leaning towards me. Gah! Personal space, sir. And like lifted its hands towards my face. And I finally screamed. Like I really screamed. Alerted hotel staff and everything. Ooh. His hand just reaching out and you're like, hey, did no one teach you consent? As soon as I did, my parents shot out of bed and the light almost sucked itself out of the room. Oh my gosh. Everything I had seen was like vacuumed out with the light. My parents comforted me and I couldn't explain what I saw. I just remember I literally pissed myself from fear. I was 5, lol. What else are you gonna do? I forgot you were 5 years old. I was really embarrassed I let a nightmare scare me so bad. Oh, I'm glad your parents weren't like, they were just like, hey, like, it's okay. I mean, they were probably frustrated, of course, especially like alerting hotel staff and everything. But like at the same time though, if a kid is really that freaked out, just like comfort them. Priorities. Comfort child first. Now that I'm older, I've seen those documentaries on people who claim they've been abducted. Maybe it's all fake, but they describe the same sensations I felt, the same light. Oh, you almost got. Honestly, when it comes to abduction, I don't know. Maybe it is real. Honestly, when it comes to life outside of us, I feel like it's possible. Do you know how many galaxies there are? And you're telling me that we're the only ones where we have a habitable planet? I don't know, man. For me, that's like, no way. There's gotta be others. Literally countless galaxies. There's gotta be more. So with that said, maybe. Nah, you just witnessed a Pokemon. That's why it was like a vacuum-like retreat. Someone was calling them back. That's what was really happening. Someone was trying to capture you as a new Pokemon. And ever since then and to this very day, I refuse to take naps. That's kind of sad because I love naps. And I never sleep soundly anywhere new. Honestly, that's fair. I had insomnia most of my life because I was afraid of having more nightmares. I ended up a huge stoner as an adult to counteract all of that, and I still don't take naps or smoke in unfamiliar places. Fair. Luckily, it's legal where I live, and I have a psychiatrist now who helps with insomnia, but I still feel way too crazy to tell anyone that I was almost abducted as a kid, and that most of my insomnia explained right there. That makes sense. Just like, how do you even explain that? Because, you know, for the most part, we want to be like, no, like, that's not real, but like, how do we know? Especially with how many people have those experiences. Maybe we are just like Pokemon to other beings. That's why they're trying to capture us. They want to collect all the humans. They capture me like, I got a short one. Or it's like fishing, you know? Catch and release. I wonder if it was real. Did the aliens get me at the hotel because I never fell asleep at school? They were like, this is a smart one. I know it sounds absolutely nuts, but I just had to share. I'm glad you did. I'm glad you did. No, this is what I'm looking for. I want crazy stories. Now this makes me want to ask, does anyone else have like spooky stories? Now I want to know. Again, submit them anywhere. Also, BTW, the other story I submitted about my ex-friend, I was shaking when I first watched the video of you reading it. I was really nervous I was in the wrong, and you made me feel heard and seen and just took a huge weight off my shoulders. I'm so glad. No, how? You really thought you were in the wrong there? You deserve to feel seen and heard. You are so loved here. I'm kind of blown away that you really thought you were in the wrong because all you did was correct them. In fact, I think you handled it very maturely. Dude, the fact that you were legitimately nervous that you were in the wrong just really tells me a lot about your character, because even reading that story, like, your crime was correcting your pronouns. And then your ex-friend just took so much offense from that, when that did not have to be a big deal. And especially they ghosted you, right? Like, they kicked you from the group chat and all of that. Like, you did nothing wrong. And honestly, their loss, because you seem like a great person. You are very loved and very welcome here. I hope the story is funny and not too scary for everyone. Definitely kind of spooky, but I don't know, I like those kinds of stories. I actually made a video reading 2-sentence horror stories. If you haven't watched that, I would recommend checking that out, because that video was really fun. I mean, kids dream wild stuff, and I haven't seen Alien since, yet at least. Then we got another from Season Sector. This is, it's my last year here, and I can fail you all if I want to. What a great example. Hello again. So I can tell you're probably wondering, but yes, this is an actual quote. So, oh wow, okay, that's wonderful. This is an actual quote that was said in school in 2015. In the beginning of the second semester, and this was for A's, the class was called Financial Literacy. Don't ask me why it was called that, but it was. So let me start with the beginning of the school year. It was early August 2014. We had just gotten our schedules for senior year, and for the last class was financial literacy. School time skip. To the end of the day, and the teacher introduces himself and basically goes, here's the syllabus. I don't think we ever followed it. Nice. Now that I'm looking back on it. But anyway, so far first quarter was fairly good. But then second quarter was basically the small snowball of the mountain. Oh, the ones you get arrested for? The second quarter was basically the small snowball in the mountain because he really didn't go over lessons for the first semester, and like a few weeks before we graduated in May, he would just put up the formula on the board and hand us a worksheet. So a lot, if not all of us in his last class really questioned his teaching methods. And so beginning of second semester, a student went to the higher ups and made a complaint about how he teaches, or lack thereof. And so the higher ups relayed the info back to him, and like the next day he went, "So I got a complaint that students were questioning how I teach. Remember how I said it was a snowball in a mountain? Well, that snowball managed to shapeshift into a Chernobyl." And he looks directly at the singular student and says, "Would anyone in particular like to fess up?" Oh my gosh! She looks at him and says, "What are you saying? Go on, spit it out." The gusto on her. If that happened to me, I would just start crying. I don't remember the rest of the words, but the teacher then yells, "It's my last year here. I can fail you all if I want to." How mature! What a great example to set to your students. That is so dumb. Just the most... if you have that kind of attitude, don't be a teacher. Just go do something else. I mean, maybe he realized that, because it sounds like he went and did something else. Unless he taught somewhere else. But he doesn't strike me as someone who is suited to be a teacher to young children. My penny of thought. And normally we as a class are calm and chill, but this, with his frustration and ours combined, it felt like it made the room warm. Like we were all sweating type of warm. You're all just literally sweating. Just literally a Western showdown happening. Sweat included. And then after that, it kind of went back to normal-ish. Do you mean like for the rest of that day? Just had the awkward silence. He's just drenched with sweat, breathing heavily, and then just... back to the Pythagorean theorem. How do you just continue from that point? I hope he either learned his lesson and strive to be a better teacher, or just went and did something else entirely. Because genuinely, if a person is willing to use their power as a teacher to just fail all their students just because they were mad at them, should not be a teacher. Or if they really want to teach that bad, go to therapy. Well, those are our 2 latest school stories. If you have any school stories you'd like to submit, you know, use any of the 4 ways I've said. I would love to read any stories you guys like to share about school, about paranormal things, about anything. But that is going to be it for today. Thank you for joining the sleepover, as always. I hope you're doing well, but if not, I hope this video has brightened your day at least a little bit. I'm just so glad you're here and supporting the PocoMuses community. So anyway, yeah, that is all for now. Take care of yourselves and each other, do your best to be a good human, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!